Hi, I'm Jax,
I'm Britt.
and this is Nerdorina, where we talk about all things fun and nerdy. So if you're fun and nerdy, you should definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos from us.
Today we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And pretty recently they've released some gameplay, so there's a lot more information to go off of.
And it sounds amazing. I was
It,
watching a few of the gameplay videos and I was just like, I need this game.
I need this game, it looks great. And I love the last one, the whole like Greek escapade that they went on with all of the bounty hunters and fun stuff. And it looks like they take a very similar open world-ish engine, but
hmm
they like boosted the graphics, boosted like so many things, and I just can't wait.
Yeah, I heard about it being compared like style wise and environment wise to The Witcher 3, which I'm also kind of excited about because that was an awesome looking game.
Mm.
So they talked about like how it's definitely going to be contrasting the like colorful, like bright environment that we were in Odyssey and like a creating like a darker, moodier, like more somber kind of environment that is apparently reminiscent of Witcher 3, which I haven't played, so I can't really speak to that much, but I did hear that comparison a couple times.
And that's so funny that you bring up the environment because like let's just this is in England. England is a little sad weather-wise compared to like Mykonos or like anything
Yeah.
near Greece. So the fact that they've emulated the country that they're trying to reflect some historical accuracy in means A plus for them. Like it's hard to try to have a colorful landscape in
hmm
the world that this takes place in.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, speaking of like the landscape in the world, a lot of these boss fights look incredible. Like some of these games coming out, I just am really excited because a lot of the boss fights, especially in the gameplay I've seen for this, really they feel like they're part of the set. Like they feel like they're part of the world. It's not like a
Yeah.
weird. It's not like a closed room that's only coded for the boss fight. Like you feel like it's in the woods. You feel like it's in a Stonehenge. You feel like it's in a real place. And
Yeah.
that kind of immersion is just so cool.
hmm
And it kind of reminds me a little bit about the God of War game that
Oh,
was
yeah.
Viking esque. It's so hard not to compare these two because they're the only two big name games recently that have even touched this topic. And I enjoyed God of War, and it looks like I'm going to enjoy this one too.
Yeah. I watched a playthrough of God of War, but I didn't play it myself. But kind of speaking to what you're talking about with the like bosses, the I guess it's going to be very similar to the last game where there's like leaders that you like have to go and fight and they're like a harder battle and stuff like that. So, but they're going to interact with the environment more. So, like adding on to that bit that you were saying about them feeling like it's not just like this enclosed room just coded for the boss, because they'll like I saw footage of them like picking up a rock and throwing it at you, and like so they're actually going to interact with the environment in order to fight you, which I thought was very very cool. And I was like, that's so much more immersive
Oh
than
yeah,
your basic like battle with an enemy.
that is so cool. I love that. Like growing up, the only game that really did that was like Mortal Kombat when they
Mhm.
interacted with the environment for certain finishers, and that was groundbreaking. But now that we're starting to get used to that, it's such a cool immersive mechanic.
Yeah.
Um, and one thing that I was really surprised about that's in this game is you can go on raids, which awesome Viking game, expect it. But when you come back with your treasures and stuff, they have it built in that you build up your settlement. They have it built in
Yeah.
that you as the player interact and build, and I just is so good coming from Fallout 76 and Fallout 4 and games like that, where you can have that kind of creative, almost like Sims element in your
Yeah.
adventure game is something that I love so much.
Yeah, and like to that too, they're also adding in a survival element. So like instead of your health just regenning when you're not in battle or not taking, or sometimes it's like after a certain amount of time that you haven't taken damage or anything like that. You actually have to like go and hunt and forage and find food in order to replenish your health. So a little Minecrafty, which
I hate that
I
so much, but I love it. Okay.
I'm so here for it. I'm really excited actually. So yeah, and if you are, I heard that if you're already full and you eat, then you'll have some regen of your health. I think if I heard that and understood correctly what they were talking about. But yeah, so you actually have to like go out and hunt and like find food in order to replenish your health, which is pretty cool. So that like paired with the building settlements, we have this kind of like survival sandboxy and then like traditional, or I shouldn't say traditional, but Assassin's Creed as we've come to know it in the newer games.
Oh my gosh. And it's so cool. I didn't like the first couple games. I didn't get into it. I thought the art was cool. I thought like some of the stuff was cool, but I just didn't enjoy it. Like climbing buildings, jumping, rolling. Like I don't know. Like it wasn't quite what I wanted.
That
So
I
I
was
didn't
all
really.
about it.
Okay. Um, but yeah. Um, so yeah, with these last two installments, Odyssey and this one, it's completely sucked me in. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
into like the historical stuff, medieval and beyond, and it's so much fun to have that much combat in it. One thing that I'm really like concerned about for this game, because mechanically it looks amazing, it looks like it's gonna perform great, but it comes out, I think, right before or right around Cyberpunk 2077.
Uh,
And
yes, I think they're both in the fall.
yeah, the date's been moving around for both of them, so there might be some flexibility, but we're getting pretty close now. Either way, I'm really afraid that this is gonna just lose out just because it came out at the wrong time, and especially because if you pre-order Cyberpunk 2077, I recently saw that if you do the PS4, the digital download, they'll automatically upgrade it to PS5. I
Mm,
haven't seen that offer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And
yeah.
that's another lose lose situation because there's some people who are still on the fence about exactly when they're going to get the new system.
Mm-hmm.
And if granted, I just know the PlayStation news, other systems might have something else, but if someone's on the fence and they want either game and they don't know when they're going to get the new system or they think they're going to upgrade within the next year, they might opt for the game that automatically upgrades.
Yeah, that's a good point. I knew that Valhalla, excuse me, I knew that Valhalla was coming out in the fall, but I was forgetting that Cyberpunk is also like due to come out in the fall. So that's a really good point that I didn't even think of because that is definitely going to be competing.
Like, am I going to be the only person playing this game because everyone's playing Cyberpunk?
I mean, I'm going to play it, so you'll definitely at least have me playing.
Oh, good.
So something I'm really excited about is the option to dual wield any weapon in the game. And this is down
Ooh,
to like if you want to dual wield two shields, you can.
stop.
Yeah. And I actually saw footage of a character dual wielding two shields. But yeah, so your like entire variety of options for weapons can all be dual wielded in any combination, is what I'm hearing. And I'm super excited about that. They're kind of advertising that as like build your warrior how you want them to fight and like fight in your own play style, like all this kind of stuff. And there's obviously skill trees and stuff that'll add to like those kind of things. But I was like, any weapon, like actually any weapon can be dual wielded with another weapon, and that's what it. Because then I saw the double shield footage, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess so.
I guess
Because
so.
who would pick
That's
two
so
shields?
cool. Yeah, and like with the weapons, they're talking about that you're more likely to stick with the same weapon. Like it's not one of those games that's gonna be like you're gonna drop your axe every 5 seconds because you found a higher level one or a cooler one. It sounds
Mm-hmm.
like it's really built in that you stick with the same weapons and you just keep upgrading them and investing in them. And I think that's really cool too. That actually happened a little bit in God of War with their version of it. You like upgraded the pommel, you upgraded like the tiny things in it, and your armor too. So like everything you had, you could upgrade in that. And I really
Yeah.
hope for that same level of detail, if not more, in this
Yeah,
one.
that would be awesome.
The character models, they look really similar to Odyssey. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
like when you're close up to someone or just like walking around town, it looks like a lot of those mechanics are almost like copy and pasted. So it's not bad. It worked well with that game. So why not bring something over? If it's not broke, don't fix it. But in the dialogue options, I noticed that many of them are time sensitive. You can't just sit there and choose. Like if someone says something to you, there's a tiny little bar counting down, and you can't think about it. And that's another level of immersion. It makes things harder, but it's another level of immersion.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different types of game mechanics that are coming into this one game, and it could either be really, really awesome, or it could be like, wow, I wish you kind of focused on one thing and made one thing really good as opposed to putting all of these elements in. So I'm very excited to see how it turns out because I think the idea of this immersive of a game is going to be very cool, which we definitely talked about in our Cyberpunk video a bit, that we'd like the immersiveness of things. But I feel like with that many different elements and that many moving parts, like how's it really gonna turn out? So I'm hoping for the best because I think it sounds awesome, but who knows?
Awesome.
Oh, I'm also interested to see how the Norse and pagan influence is going to come into play in the game. So that was mentioned in a couple of the reviews that I saw, that there was going to be pretty heavy influence from Norse mythology and paganism. So I am very interested to see how that's going to kind of play out. I'm not very versed in old world religions, but I am very curious to see how that's going to play out in the game.
Right, in a game called Valhalla, like you're kind of excited to see what the supernatural influence is, to see
Yeah.
how the religion comes through and all that fun stuff. Yeah. No. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Those are our thoughts on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and we're pretty excited. Like I know I'm going to be playing this. So let us know what you thought down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on our next adventures. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you can see what we've been up to. All right, thanks. Bye.